This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Next up, we would see Cena defeat Edge again on Raw, this time with Mick Foley as a referee. And that really starts the Foley Edge program for WrestleMania, which we know is going to be a good one. And then Triple H would win a Road to WrestleMania match over Rob Van Dam and Big Show. So now we've got our stage set for WrestleMania. It's John Cena versus Triple H. And we see Triple H start cutting promos on Cena, talking about how he's a transitional champion and he's not a very good wrestler. And I think some people believe that when these promos started, they hung around Cena for a long time. I mean, I understand at the time, Triple H is trying to be as real and edgy and shoot brother as we can. And that will certainly work for a WrestleMania rivalry. But I am curious what you think about those comments and how they really follow John for the rest of his career.
Yeah, not the right direction to head in for for Triple H. He would, in today's world, he knows better,
right?
And it's not the way you build your opponent. It's easy to say, I don't know if you're the greatest wrestler ever seen, but you're not as good as me.
Right.
Things like that would be better. So you start off with the wrong philosophy, quite frankly. So, and it got off to here's a good word for you. I made this up. Wonky. It was a wonky start to the deal. Can you imagine some people are tweeting about me saying wonky?
I want to mention over at boxofgimmicks.com right now, we have a new shirt that's available. Has, of course, the signature JR Cowboy hat, but it calls you the Wonky Talk Man. So, there you go.
There you are. So I will buy one, folks. Boxofgimmicks.com. Dave Silva sent me some nice swag. I mentioned that. And I was very impressed with all the stuff that he sent me. Good quality stuff. And
good.
So if you get a chance, and there's a lot of, I went on the site, man, there's a great selection of inventory.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. So, but anyway, it's just not the way you cut a promo. The intensity was there. The wording was fine, but the philosophy of that promo was not good. So, but that's, it's hindsight. Like I said, Triple H has matured.
Yeah.
He's become a better student of the game. Not that he wasn't then, but he's much better now. And you probably could get him to say that. If one of his kids on NXT or somebody in the main roster was using that philosophy, it probably would not make air today. It's just they're not the right way to do it. And, for whatever reason, Triple H was given that liberty to kind of go into business for himself.
Let's talk about what's next for Cena here. We do see a Saturday night's main event return where John Cena has to team with his WrestleMania opponent, Triple H, to take on three other opponents who are going to get it on in a three-way dance at WrestleMania. It's Kurt Angle, Randy Orton, and Rey Mysterio. This is the return of Saturday night's main event. It's been off the air for quite a while. When it's all done here, Cena pins Orton to gain the victory. And of course, that continues to build tension between the two. We would see John Cena main event a Raw against Vince McMahon, as Shawn Michaels and Cena are battling the McMahon family. At that point, it's Vince, Shane, and Triple H. In this era, did it start to become pretty much of a good thing? Like it felt like the McMahons had been on TV as big characters for a long time. Was this too much? Was it time for something new, or fans getting tired of it, do you think?
Pardon me. Well, the answer is, how are the ratings?
Right.
I remember they're pretty good for that McMahon thing, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, it drew a 4.99 rating, which is about 6 million viewers. Meltzer would write, the main event was Cena over Vince by DQ in 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Triple H and Shawn were handcuffed to the ropes. The match was all tests of strength. They even did spots where McMahon would out-muscle Cena, Vince took the worst bump ever. I think the idea was Cena outmuscled him and threw him down, but it sure didn't come out like that. As Cena was getting a test of strength advantage, Vince kicked him low for the DQ, and then he used the handcuff key to release Triple H. He got a sledgehammer from under the ring and laid out Cena, who juiced. They also surrounded Michaels, and Triple H hit him with a sledgehammer, and Vince hit him with a chair. The last scene was Triple H and Vince, ending with heat as the faces were all bloody. I thought it was effective. Cena versus Vince itself was a new level of bad for a main event.
Well, okay. Is that a revelation? Is that a startling statement, for God's sakes? It was a new level of bad. What the fuck did you think it was going to be? Vince is not a worker. He wasn't. He's a guy. He's a mature man that's was living out a dream of a younger man. So it can't be great. Now, if you got Sean or Shane rather, or whatever, and certainly Triple H more involved, and you saw what the results were when they were involved, it got over. But that's some of those things like said, well, it's a new level of bad. No shit, Dave. Come on.
Well, I mean, here's a revolutionary idea, Jim. For the main event of Raw, why don't we just use a couple of fucking wrestlers? Got a bunch of them under contract, paying them a lot of money. We could just go let the boss put on headsets and be the boss.
Because he didn't want to, Conrad.
So there's that.
How come you're on every show that you broadcast? Because
you that soon,
right?
Yeah.
But because you can, if you choose to, and you feel a need to. And for one, I'm glad that you are, because I don't want to work with anybody else. I don't. I'm just being honest. I will, because it's I made a commitment to you, and I would.
Sure.
But the bottom line is, Vince felt at that time that he needed to be involved, because we had not done a phenomenal job of building box office like heels. And Vince was still operating on the fumes of he and Austin's and Rock, to another degree, rivalry. And I said it many times, and I mean this. He was the best heel we had in the Attitude Era.
Right.
Was it because his work in the ring and the new level of bad? Hell no. It's promo ability. What he represented. Take this job and shove it type thing.
Right.
That's the only Johnny Paycheck reference I'll make probably today, but nonetheless, most people say, who the hell is Johnny Paycheck?
Oh, I know who Johnny Paycheck is.
Of course. So, no, I just think that the match wasn't booked to be a classic wrestling match.
Well, let my family save your family some cash. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket, but we will save you money. It's not a matter if, it's a matter of how much. SaveWithConrad.com. So let me ask Jim, when we take a look at John Cena and what he's going to do at WrestleMania, we know the prior year he was working with Layfield and they were next to last, but the last match that night was Batista and Triple H, and they had that long story with Evolution. Totally get that. When you're looking for an opponent for the next WrestleMania for John Cena, is Triple H the only obvious choice?
I don't know if he's the only obvious choice, but he is an obvious choice. Simply because Triple H had the ability in the ring to make other guys around him better. And he was a great strategist. They put matches together very well. So he might not have been the obvious choice, Conrad, and he might be. I don't know. I'm just saying that he certainly was the most viable choice, because he was coming into his own about that time and really refining his heel skills and adding a little wrinkle here and there in his look and his tights and his sledgehammer and all these things. And the thing about Triple H was he was reliable.
Right.
He was always there. The only time he wasn't there, he was injured. And those injuries were not minor injuries, because he had a lot of those that he worked through. It was the fact that, he had some surgery related injuries that he had to take care of. But other than that, man, he was reliable as hell and would make sure that that the opponent, if Triple H is going over, he knew the formula. Make your opponent really look like a star.
Right.
Because then when you beat that opponent, you've beaten somebody significant, and the win is a more high quality win. He got that formula, and it's still that way today, quite frankly. So it wasn't going to be an enhancement match where he's going to eat somebody up. So I think he was the obvious choice. He might not have been the only choice. Probably wasn't the only choice, but he certainly was the obvious choice in my view.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.